2026 is looking like a year that's going to be full of fantastic RPGs, from traditional CRPGs stretching from feudal Japan to 17th century Europe. We've got indie gems inspired by Fable and Fable itself, big budget action RPGs we've been waiting for years, and low budget pen and paper inspired games you've never heard of. There's vampires, there's exploding chickens, black and gray dice rolling goblins, giant walking trees, colonists, and of course Ben Starr.
Hello there, I'm Ben Starr, and today I've been given the honour of showing you something very, very special for Solasta 2. We're making some cool stuff and we can't wait to show you. Follow me. No, can't show you that. That's, it's going to be really exciting when you see it. You're going to love it. I think there's going to be something down here.
Oh, Ben, hi. What are you doing here, Ben?
There's a game where you can die in a toilet, and there's even dudes that'll kill you just for being rude.
You're an old man. Then let's get this over with.
Oh shit! Wait!
Too easy.
Wait! But you're not here for my shitty little intros, so let's jump into some of the games that I think will be fun in 2026. And you can jump around their chapters down below to find the game that you think will be most fun for you to look into. Our first game on the list is actually a mod, believe it or not. Back in 2025, there was some heartbreak for Skyblivion because Bethesda shadow dropped an Oblivion remaster, coincidentally the same year they were going to launch their massive complete overhaul to Skyrim into Oblivion. A blow somewhat softened by Bethesda officially recognizing the team at Skyblivion and gifting them all copies of the remaster for what it's worth. Welp, the remaster dropped. Lots of people played it and enjoyed it, and Skyblivion got delayed to 2026. So now you can fail to save Patrick Stewart in back-to-back years, 2025 and 2026, because Skyblivion is coming out. Skyblivion is a top-to-bottom complete overhaul mod replacing Skyrim with Oblivion. It's being made by a team of over 50 volunteers working toward the noble goal of bringing the beloved RPG to a new audience. And an older one. Skyblivion will be 100% free as long as you already have Skyrim's Anniversary Edition and Oblivion, including its DLCs. The mod is huge, encompassing all of the content of the original base game Oblivion, but remade in Skyrim's Anniversary Edition engine. They've also said that post-release of Skyblivion, they'll be working to bring Oblivion's DLCs to the mod as well. They'll include the additional cut content of the game as well as adding more content that can be found through Tamriel's lore. The example they give is the lost city of Such, located between Anvil and Kvatch, which will be expanded upon compared to the original Oblivion. The mod will include all quest items, armors, NPCs, etc. There's just one unfortunate catch. Because of the size of the mod, it will not be coming to console. It will be limited to PC. What started as a demo to gauge interest has now turned into a full-on remake. Gothic 1 is getting a remake courtesy of Kimmy Interactive, remake the classic from Piranha Bytes, a studio that still existed before Embracer overindulged on acquisitions, royally fucked up, closed Piranha Bytes, and then promoted the person who caused all those fuck-ups. Not that I'm bitter about that or anything, but Gothic's remake does live on, and now we officially have a release date, June 5th of 2026. But you don't have to wait for June 5th of 2026 to actually go in and play Gothic Remake. At least get into it and see what it's about, because we already have a playable demo of the suitably dark RPG. And that was my first time to play any version of Gothic, jumping into that demo and getting to kind of see what it's all about. And I came away intrigued and hungry for more. I am not the target demographic. Like I said, I never played Gothic. I have no nostalgia for this game, but the darkness, the grittiness, the sheer ability to screw up everything and die. It was just fantastic. The game is a gorgeous, brutal RPG where you be a nameless protagonist in the open world, full of danger where the world will react dynamically to your choices. The demo, which is still playable, has a mostly positive rating with over 6,000 reviews so far. Now, I personally struggled mightily with the combat at first, but I am also very bad at games. It feels like a system where as you play the game more, you'll get the hang of it. But like I was saying, the best part of this is you can go and play the demo right now. That, more than anything I have to say, should help determine for you whether this brutal dark RPG is something you want to sink your teeth into. If you're looking for some harsh realism where everyone kind of seems to be a dick, this game might be for you.
Watch your fucking mouth.
Big mistake.
Oh shit, am I gonna die again? Oh my god, no, leave me alone. Hey, wait, hold on. Wait, can we talk about this? Oh shit. Shit. I can't recommend checking out this game enough. My most anticipated game on this list also carries with it the most risk. Fable is coming back, but it's not going to be made by the same studio who made the first games. Originally set for 2025, it's been delayed to 2026 to add polish, and we now actually have a release window. It'll be coming in autumn of 2026. We actually finally have some good details on it. Choice is all over this game, thankfully. Choice is everywhere. It sounds like you're going to be able to make choices that are good, bad, whatever. You're going to be able to buy everything. You're going to be able to romance people. You're going to be able to buy businesses. You're going to be able to hire people. You're going to be able to evict people. You're going to be able to kick chickens. Anything you do will have a consequence. You'll be able to kill people, at least some people. It wasn't very clear if you could just run around and kill whoever you wanted to. But what is clear is that choice is going to be incredibly important to Fable. And what you do is going to matter to the people of Albion and how they react to you. You will have a reputation, and that reputation is based on decisions both big and small. And this is huge and important to the series of Fable specifically. And perhaps very important to everyone because of Fable, you will be able to create your own character, although there is a little caveat here that I want to point out because what they said was character faces. Character heads, I think, was the term they used. So I don't think this is going to be a super extensive character creator, at least from what they're hinting at here, what they said here. I'm not expecting anything insane here. I'm expecting something maybe along the lines of Avowed, but I wouldn't expect anything huge or amazing. And I'm at the very least, I'm expecting the same, basically same body types, if nothing else. Nothing crazy or extensive here. Basically, keep your expectations in check for this, but you at least are going to be able to have the ability to customize your character and your look. I did notice in the direct that there is character voices, and those character voices change. Combat-wise, we kind of did seem to get it confirmed here that the idea that this might be kind of in line with Witcher 3 combat kind of seems to be true, because a lot of the combat that was shown off here, at least from what we saw, looks like Witcher 3 combat. And I do want to caution here that seeing combat and actually playing combat are two entirely different things. You cannot tell how combat feels just by looking at it. Still, there was some cool stuff I wanted to point out with the combat that you saw. Of course, like obviously the switching around between ranged combat, magic combat, melee combat, but also there was some friendly fire damage between enemies. Like if you dodge out of the way, they would hit each other, as well as using weaknesses of enemies to actually take them out, like taking out their freaking legs, which I thought was pretty freaking cool. This is a open, seamless world. It is a big ass huge world, and it is fucking gorgeous. The people are kind of like hit or miss, I think. Sometimes they look really good, sometimes they look kind of but the actual like setting, like the world itself looks pretty fucking stunning. And so do the enemies, like the actual creatures, they look stunning. And I think that should be expected. This is coming from the studio that made Forza, which we also saw shown off in this whole direct. But goddamn, this may be one of the most beautiful looking open world RPGs that I've seen. And it really, really freaking shows. Like, this is a gorgeous looking game, and I cannot wait to get in there and run around. And it is seamless, so no zones or anything like that. Second side of this, they gave us a little hint to the story. The start of the story is that you start out as a child, which is very much in line with Fable. You start out as a kid, and guess what? You start out with fucking tragedy. Because who doesn't like a little bit of tragedy when you start out your story? Just fucking wonderful, right? And you're just like, your grandmother and everyone you know gets frozen in time. Well, stone. Everyone gets frozen in stone. Just awful. But that's how it starts, so cool. As exciting as a lot of things are with this game, not everything is roses, because one of the things that people haven't been so happy about that Playground Games is doing away with is the visual good and evil changes. No growing devil horns for being a right wanker of a landowner or murdering gentle giants in this game, as it seems. And I get it, but if I'm honest with myself, the way that I play games like this, I never would have gotten the devil horns anyway. I would have just got like a stupid, silly looking halo, and I wouldn't look cool, so maybe it's for the best, at least for me. It's been confirmed in interviews that of all these NPCs, all these handcrafted NPCs, there's 1,000 of them in the game, and all of them will have fully voiced conversations. All of them are also going to be handcrafted, that you could actually go in and marry all of them, I guess if you wanted, which sounds like a shit ton of work, but you do you. Lastly, it's important to point out that while you're going to be swinging swords and casting spells, Fable is a fairy tale. If the giant and the beanstalk didn't give it away, this is not a fantasy game. A distinction worth its own video, I think, but one that I hope actually sets it a little bit apart from the wonderfully delicious glut of fantasy games we've had recently. As much as I love the setting, it's nice to see something just a little bit different. Oh yeah, and it's about as British as saying herb and putting beans on toast, which is actually pretty damn good. You should try it. What? It's good. Blood of the Dawnwalker is the upcoming vampire RPG made by former CD Projekt Red devs that's looking a whole lot like Witcher 3 with vampires, but with some unique twists around how it plays, including blood hunger, intriguing, exciting vampire movement, and a day-night dynamic where by day you are a human, but by night you are a vampire. You will take on the role of Cohen, a half-human, half-vampire, known as the Dawnwalker in the plague-ridden Gothic kingdom of Vale Sangora, inspired by 14th century Europe. The human population is subjugated by Brensis, an ancient vampire who's taken your family. Because again, there's just a lot of people who are just assholes in these games. It's an RPG that will have a bit of a sense of urgency as well. Some actions, specific quests will advance a timer as you work to save your family from that old mean ancient Roman vampire Brensis. You know, this handsome devil. I don't know why, but I don't think he'll have the same fan club as Asterion, because that's a bit more than a love bite. But I've been surprised before. We've actually seen quite a bit of Blood of the Dawnwalker over the last year or so, with lots of different dev streams and interviews, many of which include pretty incredible cinematography, not just of the game, but like actual set pieces, as well as like fantastic music for the game. We've seen plenty of gameplay demonstrations, everything from their directional combat, including the use of magic in that combat, to drinking blood of the unsuspecting victims, who can be a bit, well, they can be a bit crude.
Like this drunkard. Let's grab him and use voracious.
You can suck the blood of humans, animals, or even vampires. They didn't say exactly what kind of things happen if you suck the blood of vampires, but it seems like humans are the most satiating source. Because we're just so fucking tasty, I guess. And you'll be given the option of drinking just a teeny bit of blood or sucking them dry. Fucking hell, it does sound sexual, doesn't it? If you take every last bit of blood, helpfully indicated by the big ass skull on their blood bar, you kill them. Or you can choose to simply knock them out. These choices can go out of your control though, so there's a good reason to keep yourself well stocked with your favorite bloody juice box, because not drinking enough can send you into a blood craze, which they've warned could cause you to murder people you otherwise wouldn't want to. As well as just showing a general world building, showing a lively, beautiful, and exciting world. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out here talking about this game is that one of the biggest comments on it has been about that time mechanic. So I do want to point out here that the team has been pretty clear about two things on it. This is not a ticking clock that is going to be going on at all times. This will only advance from specific actions like those quests or missions. Specifically from a write-up from thegamer.com, there are 8 segments per 24 hours that only advance when you progress through specific missions, and the game will inform you how many of those segments it will take to complete a mission successfully. Some of the examples given were like one mission might take 2 or one mission might take 1 segment to complete, and this was somewhere in the middle of the game, so potentially those could take longer segments later on. It's also been confirmed that you can actually play through the entire game only during the day as a human or at night as a vampire, giving more options, though that's obviously not how it's intended to be played. The mechanic might still give people some pause though, but at least you're not going to be Keanu Reeves on a speeding bus or something. This is obviously still a core mechanic to the game, and I understand why some people may hesitate with this, but at least it's not like something that's going to be like always there, just like constant like threats of making you feel like you can't play the game at your own pace. You will still have autonomy in how you want to play. The way that I think about it is it's just like a kind of idea of like the same kind of concept of when you do certain missions in other RPGs, it will advance the story. There's just more of them seemingly in this game. Like, you know, when you advance from Act 1 to Act 2 in, say, Baldur's Gate 3. Blood of the Dawnwalker will be releasing in 2026 on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series XS. We're going to swerve into a very different game from here because this may be the most unique looking game on the list and the most different. A black and white first-person D&D inspired dungeon crawler, The Secret of Weepstone. Vahrin, the Lord of Weepstone, has taken ill and his dreams are plagued with visions of unholy rituals and occult symbols. You'll gather up a party of up to 8 unlikely common folk or battle-worn adventurers to search out the source of Vahrin's suffering, which is hopefully not just the 12-pack of Taco Bell hard shell tacos one of them brought for game night. In the game, you'll roll dice for skill checks in combat, solve dangerous puzzles, level up, find gear, and, well, die. I mean, what other game lets you use the corpses of your deceased comrades to break down doors? At least they're useful in death, right? You'll die a lot in the game. Sometimes to toilets.
Peering into the opening shows a drop that leads out of sight and into absolute darkness, farther than any sane person would attempt to climb, unless of The party calls down in desperation, but they receive no reply.
Yeah, so when you die, you gain unique mortal favors, which as we get a little deeper in this list and we talk about another game called Valor Mortis, you'll see there's a burgeoning theme here of embracing the cold coils of death to gain power, something I'm exceptionally good at even in the most elementary levels of difficulty in games. There's something just so charming and exciting about this hand-drawn black and white style that really has me wanting to jump into this game and try it out when it releases. It just kind of sets it apart from some of these other games. It makes it feel a bit unique, which is why I wanted to put it here. It just feels different. And any game inspired by Dungeons & Dragons is going to automatically get a look from me. One of the devs for the game on Reddit described it as a pulpy, old-school dungeon crawler that completes the vibes and tone put in place by the art. Shadow of the Road is perhaps one of the smallest CRPGs on this list, and one you might not have heard of. And it's coming from Owlcat, but not actually being made by Owlcat. It's from their brand new publishing arm, and it's being made by Another Angle Games. Shadow of the Road is a classic CRPG set in feudal Japan, complete with mystical magics, devastating machines, and oh so much blood. Like truly, so much blood. It is a story-driven, turn-based RPG set in feudal Japan in 1868, a real historical time with a real civil war between Emperor Meiji and the Tokugawa shogunate called the Boshin War. It's a time of increased Western influence in Japan and has been used as a backdrop for many great fictional stories, one that Shadow of the Road hopes to be. You take on the role of two disgraced Ronin following defeat at the hands of the Emperor, backed by the British East Nippon Company and their technological superiority. It's not just rifled though, as they've got giant freaking steam scorpions. There's a lot to this game, and it feels and plays like you would expect for a typical strategy game, a typical turn-based RPG. When I got to play an earlier version of this game, it did feel like it was a little rough at times around the edges, but I still had fun with it, and I was really getting into the story a little bit, and I wanted to see where it was going. I really enjoyed my time with the game, and that makes me more excited to see what was going to be coming from it. Shadow of the Road should be launching in 2026, and I cannot wait to see what comes from this first game coming from Another Angle Games, and one of the first games published by Alcat's publishing arm.
Citizens of Nippon, a new dawn rises upon your land. Through progress and technology, we bring prosperity to all. Your nation ripples with mutiny. But our technology will protect your peace. Peace demands the sacrifice of those that stand in the way of progress. On behalf of your glorious Emperor Mutsuhito, we will bring light where there is darkness. Together, we march into a brighter tomorrow. For peace. For progress. For the Empire.
Greedfall: The Dying World is a game I debated putting on this list. After all, it's not every day you get an RPG that's currently sitting at a mixed rating on Steam for its early access period on a most anticipated list. But there's a not insignificant chunk of that review due to the developer Spiders deciding to make a major change with the originally titled Greedfall 2: The Dying World, notably a prequel to the first title. A major change that's pretty controversial because they changed the entire combat system to the game. Greedfall: The Dying World went back in time, going from an action combat system from the first game to what can only be described as an homage to Dragon Age Origins with real-time with pause strategic combat. And that's not just me saying that. Spiders themselves have said they were inspired by DAO, and after playing the early access for a bit, it really does feel a whole lot like jumping back into that lovely game. The story of the game is one fraught with peril, as you are a Tir Fadi, captured from your small island by foreigners who are threatening your people with extinction, a journey that will take you across the old continent, recruiting allies along the way. While Greedfall starts slow, it quickly starts to build some character depth that has promise, and you begin to hate the foreign invaders pretty damn quick with their wanton need to butcher every animal in the cruelest ways, leave your kin to die in the mines, and just be absolute dicks at every turn. There's also some really cool features with some of the stealth mechanics, like being able to knock out enemies, that add some extra dimension. One of my biggest concerns for Greedfall is that it will slide too much under the radar because of its massive departure from the first game in combat style, so it will lose its prior audience without being able to grip a new audience, because it's a bit of a unique IP without an established foothold in a strong fantasy IP, relying more on the ideas of nature and this 17th century European fantasy world that's actually getting rid of its former audience because they changed their combat style. That's asking a lot. Like some of the best RPGs, it lets you approach quests with different choices. For example, when you need to help freeing some of your kin from the trapper's poorly placed bear traps, you can pay them off, intimidate them, or the only correct choice, murder them. All of them. Literally all of them. And then, you know, play the dice rolling game yourself and disable the traps. I admit when I did this, I kept failing a lot, so I had to keep reloading because I kept like failing and snapping my kin's legs with the trap. I would have loved in that last option of murdering everyone if they would have dropped instructions or something to really drive home that sense of choice, but killing them did complete a different quest that had similar options of bribery, intimidation, or murder. There's something here. There's good storytelling and character depth. By the end of the prologue, the hooks were in, and I already felt the pain of loss looking at the screen saying, no fucking way, because there's, well, no spoilers here, but something really bad happens. Unfortunately, the game does suffer from some bugs though, some pretty bad ones, like getting stuck in combat and black screens after some cutscenes, which will hopefully be fixed in time for launch. Otherwise, this could truly doom what otherwise might be a very fun new Dragon Age Origins inspired CRPG to complete and utter obscurity even faster than that combat change. This game makes it onto my most anticipated list because of its promise as a full release title combined with its flashes of genuine enjoyment as an early access title. A real-time with pause CRPG with intriguing setting and deep characters that I already care about with only a couple hours in the game so far. The voice acting was good, the cinematics were good, and exploration and travel in the game felt really good and crisp. Oh yeah, and it doesn't hurt that Neil Newbin lends his stellar talents to the game among several other fantastic actors.
Shoot, but do not kill it! I want that thing alive!
Greedfall: The Dying World will be releasing in full on March 12th, 2026 if you want to check it out. Solasta 2 is getting on this list, and don't hate me for including an early access game. I'm just that excited about this one. I had to put Solasta 2 on this list because it may end up being one of the RPGs I spend the most time in 2026, despite it being an early access title that'll have a limited amount of content in it. And by all accounts, it will not be launching in 2026. This may end up being the game that scratches that very specific Baldur's Gate 3 D&D itch while I wait for other titles. Solasta 2 is a tactical turn-based companion RPG where your dice will control your destiny as you protect the land of Neokos from the dark forces of the enigmatic Shadwin. It is the second title from Tactical Adventures that seeks to play just like a tabletop RPG. Solasta 2 so far from what we've seen has been an improvement on just about every aspect from the first game, from graphics and presentation to voice acting and storytelling. The demo has been out for about a year and early access will be dropping on March 12th, 2026. The combat feels good, it feels crisp, the animations are fantastic, and the game and world feels more alive and everything just feels much better than the first game did. You can actually go and play the demo right now, so again, like the Gothic game, there's much more benefit in you going and playing that than listening to someone like me or any other content creator talk about it, because the ultimate thing is your opinion is going to be infinitely more valuable than anything I have to say. We've already seen the reveal of some of the fantastic cast of the game, including Ben Starr, Amelia Tyler, and Deborah Wild, and we'll have several classes and subclasses in the early access to go and play, and I cannot wait to jump in and see what this game is all about. Once we can actually make our own characters, choose our own classes, and can kind of jump in and actually make our own mark on the world a little bit more than what we're able to do in the demo. Forsaken Realms Vahrin's Call is another one that could slip that hasn't officially confirmed for 2026, but has simply been titled as soon. But I wanted to include it on this list because 2026 is still listed on Steam as their release date, and there is a pretty good possibility that this game could be coming this year. It is an indie RPG inspired by Fable that I've been watching in development for years, and I can't wait to get my hands on. An RPG with a classes system merging different combat styles, throwing fireballs between arrows, or dropping ice and wielding big two-handed swords alone sounds like it'll be one of those systems that's just fun to engage with, the kind of combat you just enjoy doing. It's a game I don't see pushing any boundaries, and that's okay. Even the team behind it originally had grander ambitions, like for example, originally planning for co-op, but realizing that they had to scale back and make it single player. This is their first title, and they've been working on things like polishing up animations since even their recent reveal video. It's a game that will have puzzles and side quests and treasures to be found, dungeons and NPCs and crafting and all manners of loot and ability. You can even pet these giant furry creatures. Or not. But as much fun as all that can be, at least for me, without a driving narrative, without a reason to exist, the game can fall flat. Especially an RPG. There needs to be a reason why to all the hacking and slashing, and even the gnome slaughter. So allow me to leave you today with a little bit of drama to get you excited for the storytelling of this game. When a Krayek swarm invaded the great city of Vahrin, the combined order of humankind rallied the armies of the free cities and marched to their aid. For a time, there was hope. For under the leadership of King Aldisheim, they pushed deep into the depths of the city. They were intent on driving out the attackers. They sought to push back the Krayeks back into the darkness from whence they came. Victory did come. Briefly, fleeting. The Krayeks were defeated through this combined might. But the cost was grave and the triumph was short-lived, for a far greater danger rose from beneath the city's streets. The armies of the free cities were decimated and the rallying call disbanded. Armies returned home, leaving Vahrin to fend for itself. Now, Vahrin's king lies dead, alongside thousands of soldiers who marched to the city's aid. Only the most stalwart defenders remain, seeking to reclaim Vahrin, you among them.
What is the meaning of this disturbance? I trust by this unruly interruption and the awful smell you've brought into my home that you are a mercenary. Then you've come about the job.
The game is fully voice acted, will have side quests, main quests, and you'll have a lot to offer, and I cannot wait to jump in and uncover the story of the game and just really kind of uncover this new IP and see what it has to offer. While it'll only be launching on PC, it will also feature full controller support. I have a soft spot for indie RPGs and I will always love to support them, and this is one of those games that I'm very eager to play. My name is Redwood Flynn. These are some of my favorite upcoming RPGs that I'm really excited about. I hope you like them too. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon.